Welcome to John's Maths book. In this video, we're going to be looking at solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. If you like these videos, then please like, subscribe, share, and add comments as usual. A quadratic equation in its standard form is written as y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. The roots of the quadratic equation can be found using the quadratic formula, which is written as x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now, if we plot the xy graph of a quadratic equation, we get a parabola shape. And it has two roots, one is here and one is here, where y is equal to 0. So let's look at an example of solving a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. So let's take the example of x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. So the first thing we do is identify a, b, and c. So a in the quadratic formula is the coefficient of the x squared term. So a is equal to 1. B is the coefficient of the x term, so b is equal to 4. And c is the constant, so c is equal to minus 12 in our case. Now if we plug the values into the quadratic formula, we get x is equal to, so minus b, so that's minus 4, plus or minus square root of b squared. So 4 squared is 16. And that's minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is minus 12. And that's all divided by 2 times a, which is 2. So let's expand that, and we get x is equal to minus 4 plus or minus square root of 16, and then 4 times 1 times minus 12 is 48. So it's minus 48, and there's a minus in front of it, so it becomes a plus 48. So that becomes plus 48. That's all divided by 2. So that can be written as x is equal to minus 4 plus or minus square root of 16 plus 48. That gives 64. That's divided by 2. So we got x is equal to minus 4. So plus or minus, now 64 is a perfect square, so it's 8 squared. So the square root of 64 is 8. So plus or minus 8 divided by 2. So if we divide 2 into the numerator and the denominator here, we can get x is equal to minus 2 plus or minus 4. And therefore we have our two values of x. So x is equal to minus 2 plus 4, which is equal to 2. And x is equal to minus 2 minus 4, which is equal to minus 6. So for exercise 1, solve the quadratic equation 6x squared minus 5x minus 4 equals 0 using the quadratic formula. So pause the video now and see if you can work out the answer. Okay, so hopefully you've got the answer. So first let's write down a, b, and c. So a is the coefficient of the x squared term. So a is equal to 6. b is equal to minus 5, coefficient of x. And c is equal to the constant term, which in this case is minus 4. So the quadratic formula states that x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So if we plug our values into this, we get x is equal to minus b, so b is minus 5, so minus b gives 5, plus or minus square root of b squared, so minus 5 squared is 25, minus 5 times minus 5. And 4ac is 4 times 6, which is 24, multiplied by 4 gives, sorry, I'll say that again, 4 times 6, 24, times c, which is minus 4, gives minus 96. And as we have a minus 4ac, it becomes plus 96, divided by 2 times a, which is 12. So let's simplify that to get x is equal to 5 plus or minus square root. 25 plus 96 is 121 divided by 12. So x is equal to 5. Now 121 is a perfect square. 11 squared gives 121. So the square root of 121 is 11. So it's plus or minus 11 divided by 12. So now we have two values of x. X is equal to 5 plus 11 divided by 2. And x is equal to 5 minus 11 divided by 2. So 5 plus 11 is 16. Sorry, it's divided by 12. 16 divided by 12 is equal to 4 divided by 3. 5 minus 11 gives us minus 6 divided by 12, which is equal to minus a half. So the two values of x are x is 4/3 and x is minus a half. For exercise 2, let's solve the quadratic equation 5x squared minus 4x minus 2 equals 0. Pause the video now and see if you can work out the correct answer. So hopefully you got the answer. So in this case we have values of a, b and c. So a coefficient of x squared is 5. B coefficient of x is minus 4. And c, the constant, is minus 2. So the quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So if we put our values of a, b and c into the formula, we get, so minus b, so b is minus 4, so minus and minus is a plus, so it's 4 plus or minus square root. So b squared, so minus 4 times minus 4 gives 16. 4ac, so 4 times 5 times minus 2, so 4 5s are 20, times minus 2 gives minus 40, and because it's a minus and a minus make a plus, so that's plus 40 divided by 2 times 5 is 10 divided by 10. So that equals 4 plus or minus square root of 56 divided by 10. So we can simplify that further and say x is equal to 4. Now 56 is 4 times 14, so we can say it's plus or minus the square root of 4 multiplied by square root of 14 divided by 10. So we can say x is equal to 4 plus or minus, now the square root of 4 is 2, multiplied by the square root of 14. And that's all divided by 10. So if we divide 2 into the top and the numerator and the denominator of this, we get, so divide 2 into 4 goes twice. 2 into 2 goes once, so it's plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so then we're just left with the square root of 14 divided by, and 2 into 10 goes 5 times. So now we have our two values of x. So x is equal to 2 plus square root of 14 divided by 5, and x is equal to 2 minus square root 14 divided by 5. For exercise number 3, let's solve the quadratic equation x squared plus 3x. So x squared plus 3x plus a quarter equals 0. So pause the video now and see if you can work out the answer. So hopefully you got the answer. So first let's identify a, b and c. So a is equal to the coefficient of the x squared term, which is 1. B is equal to the coefficient of the x term, which is 3. And c is the constant, which is a quarter in this case. So let's apply the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So now if we plug our numbers into that formula, we get x is equal to minus b, so that's minus 3 plus or minus square root. So b squared, so 3 squared is 9. So minus 4ac is minus 4 times 1, which still gives minus 4, multiplied by a quarter, so it gives minus 1, divided by 2 times a, so 2 times 1 is 2. So x is equal to minus 3 plus or minus square root of 9 minus 1 is 8 divided by 2. So that can be rewritten as follows. So x is equal to minus 3 plus or minus. Now 8 is 2 times 4. So it can be the square root 4 times square root of 2 divided by 2. So x is equal to minus 3 plus or minus, now the square root of 4 is 2, multiplied by the square root of 2. That's all divided by 2. And if we divide 2 into the numerator, we get x is equal to minus 3 divided by 2 plus or minus square root of 2. So therefore we have our two values of x, so x is equal to minus 3 divided by 2 plus square root of 2, and x is equal to minus 3 divided by 2 minus square root of 2. So for exercise 4, let's calculate the roots of the quadratic x squared minus 8x minus 5 equals 0. So pause the video now and see if you can work out the answer. So hopefully you got the answer. So let's identify a, b, and c. So a is equal to 1, coefficient of x squared. B is equal to minus 8, coefficient of x. And c is equal to minus 5, constant term. So let's write down our quadratic formula. So x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So if we plug the values of a, b, and c into the formula, we get x is equal to minus b. So minus 8 minus, so it's two negatives make a positive, so it's minus 8 becomes 8 plus or minus square root of b squared. So minus 8 squared, 64, minus 4ac. So 4 times a is 4, times c is 20. So times c is minus 20. So a minus and a minus becomes a plus, so 20. That's divided by 2 times a, which is 2. So if we simplify that, we get x is equal to 8 plus or minus square root. 64 plus 20 is 84 divided by 2. So x is equal to 8 plus or minus. Now 84 can be written as square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 21. That's all divided by 2. So then we have x is equal to 8 plus or minus square root of 4 is 2 multiplied by the square root of 21 divided by 2. So if we divide 2 into the numerator and the denominator, we get x is equal to 2 into 8 goes 4 times, plus or minus. 2 into 2 goes once, so we lose that 2 in the numerator. Square root of 21, and 2 into the denominator goes once. So we now have our two values of x. So x is equal to 4 plus square root 21, and x is equal to 4 minus square root 21. So that concludes our video on solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula.